Hi everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Frank Billingsley, and we're watching now a tornado warning. This was just issued for Waller County until 6 p.m. I'll zip in on this, but you can see all of these showers have been across the area. So we'll go in a little tighter to where we're talking about right here. And what's remarkable is these storms are moving at 60 miles per hour. So even if there's not a tornado, the winds associated with this line can cause some big problems, that is for sure. So there's a look at the official tornado warning, and this, what we call a storm tracker here, this orange arrow, that will always give us some good information. So this is headed right toward Waller at 5:57, Hockley at 6:05, Hagar at 6:10. You can see the shear with this is 80 miles per hour, 100% chance of hail, 60% chance of severe hail on the order of 1.5 inches. That's about a golf ball size hail, and that will continue to move off to the east, to the east, maybe east-southeast. And the whole storm is moving at 60 miles an hour. So this is a very fast moving system. Clearly, I'll put this in motion over the last hour, and you can see how fast it's moved. This is in 1 hour. This storm system moved from around Giddings right to where it is now in just an hour. So clearly, this is really starting to move very quickly toward the Houston area. This is what we're going to have to watch out for. These circular motions here indicate at least some shear in the atmosphere. Not guaranteed that there is a tornado. In fact, nothing has been seen on the ground, but what we are seeing is at least the potential for something here as this moves now right into Waller County. So this is almost to Harris County. This thing is really trucking along so quickly that it's certainly going to cause some wind damage, if not produce a tornado, but the potential is there. I'll put it, just stop it here, and you can see this is where now into Harris County that tornado watch goes. So we're anywhere from the central part, right, really just a few miles south of Prairie View, right there in the central part of Waller County into the western part of Harris County as far as the threat on this. So this is what's moving in. Elsewhere, there are a number of flood watches, aerial advisories, and flood warnings, these green and these red boxes for very heavy rain on the order of 3 to 5 inches of rain that you've seen already. The other issue has been this severe thunderstorm warning that we have seen right here in parts of, looks like northern Liberty County, headed toward the Livingston area. This is until 6:15, so that's from Liberty County off to the northeast. That clearly, and I'll put a motion on this for you, is moving off pretty quickly as well, and not quite as fast as what we have seen with this other system. But let's look at that storm tracker right there, and that will give us an idea of places that are in the threat zone. Oakshade at 6, Wildwood at 6:11. Village Mills at 6:14 and Hyatt, and now that's just been updated. Oakshade at 6:02, Wildwood at 6:13, Village Mills at 6:17. So this whole area is going to continue to move off to the northeast. So we can take a look at this on just a wider scale and take some of this off, because I know it gets so confusing when we see all of those boxes out there. So I'll just take them off for a second. You can see there's the whole line of showers and thunderstorms. Add back some lightning, give you an idea. 942 strikes is what we are seeing everywhere on your screen, but that does go off into Louisiana. So if we tighten this up a little bit, that number should go down a little bit. You can see down to 883, but still we're talking about a lot of lightning in this whole area as this continues to move through. Now, if I put this in motion, you'll get a little better sense of how this continues to move slowly off to the east northeast for this area, but very quickly to the east for the area down to the south. Let me show you this again. If you look, and I can just draw some of this for you. If you look at where this started, which is right back here around the Giddings area, and now the back end of this is right there. I mean, that's a very fast motion. You could drive it that fast if you could find a straight road to do it, but that's a very quick motion there. And so, given that, I think you're going to see this move right across Harris County. I mean, it's about 50 miles across Harris County. It's going to move right across now between 6 and 7 o'clock, it looks like, as that continues to move on through. So I think we have to really watch out. I don't know that we're going to have an actual tornado that's going to end up affecting us, but we're going to have the wind. We're definitely going to have the wind, because you can't move a line of storms at 60 miles an hour without a lot of wind. So this is the time, if you're in Harris County watching us, this is the time to really buckle up anything that could be blown around. Pool umbrellas, big wheels around the house, garbage cans, anything that could be blown about. And please be careful, because a lot of branches have been falling with these storms. And I mean big oak branches that people haven't taken care of from the drought last summer. When we were so dry and hot, a lot of trees, their branches got very weak. And now you get a wind like this, and that's going to cause problems. So watch out there. Do you have an updated information? I'm talking to Daja here.
Yeah, if you turn back on the warnings there, just to show them that a severe thunderstorm warning has been extended into portions of Harris County.
Okay.
And even just that northwestern corner of Harris County now includes that tornado warning. So mainly west and northwest of Katy at this point, that tornado warning still until 6 p.m. and then that severe thunderstorm warning once again now including Harris County.
So we have the tornado warning about another 7 minutes, and that's been converted to a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. And again, there's so much going on here, but you can see that this area, let me just draw this out, it's this area right there. It's going to continue to move right into the Houston area. So right across, Katy, you're starting, I bet Katie's probably hearing this, especially if you put some lightning back on there. You're starting to see those dark clouds come in, and it's not going to be long before you start seeing that rain move across. So Harris County, Katy, right up toward Cypress, and continuing on toward Magnolia and Stagecoach. You're going to start seeing all of that move across in the next 15 minutes. So that severe thunderstorm warning expires at 6:15. Now, I got to tell you, usually when a severe thunderstorm warning is issued, it's for about 45 minutes. It's not for 20. You know, I mean, it's just, unless a line of storms is moving at 60 miles an hour, because then clearly it's going to be here and it's going to be gone, and your next warning will continue to push across and push across and push across. And so between now, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, I think this will probably be right over here in Chambers County. I mean, it's only going to take maybe 2 hours to get all the way across, but it's the wind damage that I would be concerned with more than anything. The one advantage of such a fast-moving line of storms is it can't drop that much rain in any one spot. So while they've had to deal with 4 and 5 inches of rain up here to the north, because these showers have moved relatively slowly and they've continued to build all day, the storms that we're watching moving so quickly are not going to have time to drop a whole lot of rain. So we may see an inch of rain out of this, but I think we will see the wind that will go with all of that. So let me clean this up just a little bit. I'll even take the lightning off here, and you can see this is the tornado warning. Let's just go in a little bit here. This is the tornado warning that we're watching. That is right there north of Pattison, continues right into parts of Harris County, but we have not had any eyewitness of any tornadoes, and we haven't had any reports. Daji, I'm right, we haven't had any reports of tornadoes.
No tornadic activity, so right now
no tornadic activity has been reported on this. Although, I mean, when you look at that, it's pretty impressive for sure when you just look at the reds and the blues. We look at the velocity on this, where we try to see the reds and the greens, and that's what we're seeing. That's why this was issued. See that bright green? And that red is wind that's going away from the radar, and this green, that's coming toward the radar. So when you have wind that's going away and wind that's coming toward, then clearly you're going to get some kind of a circulation. So you have wind going one way and wind going the other way. And that's exactly why that shear marker is right there, because that's where we could potentially have a tornado. This is more about the upper atmosphere. There's probably some spinning going on there. It's once it goes out of that cloud and reaches the ground that it becomes a concern for those of us who live at the ground, right? But that's not happening with this so far. But the warning, we'll see it's about, what, another 4 minutes. So we'll see if this actually expires, the tornado warning. That's the tornado warning expected to expire at 6 p.m. And as I mentioned, it's been converted to a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. So you folks there, I'll put it back on what we call reflectivity, which is to say the radar. So there we go. So we have that back on the radar. Look at the purple there. That's always an indication of very strong storms and potentially some hail. So when you look at the hail potential there, that is certainly 1 inch. The 70-mile-an-hour winds. These are just the threats that I'm looking at. Wow. So moving east-northeast at 49. Watch out in Fetzer, Todd Mission, Todd, Magnolia. This is one of the skits that I touched on. Let's clear some of this out of here and take it back to the radar and clear all of that out of there so that we can see what we're talking about here. All right, so this is still what we're watching. There's the tornado warning, 5:57. We'll continue to watch this as it goes right to 6 o'clock. And then we'll be on the air live at 6 on KPRC 2, so you can watch us there. And we'll continue to go with this as long as we need to. But this is now a tornado warning until 6, but a severe thunderstorm warning. Well, wait a minute. This tornado warning's been extended. We now have a tornado warning until 6:30 for Harris County. So this has been extended. Let me get rid of that, and let me get rid of that. There we go. So if you just follow the lines and never smart.
The tornado warning got extended.
Yeah, you can go outside the lines pretty easily. You folks in Katy could be vulnerable. Down to the south of there, this is from Cypress to Jersey Village, but this is a tornado warning now until 6:30. Hey, is Daji in there?
I'm back here.
Okay. I'll try to effort on this to see if we've had anything actually that has been spotted. Because certainly, as you saw with that red and green right next to each other, it's certainly a possibility that we will see something on the ground. But so far, these are more about radar indicated systems than we have worried about as far as anything actually being seen on the ground. So that's what we're watching now. These skits, these storm trackers, they give us an indication of which way everything is going. All right, I think we're about to go on the air in 1 minute. So I'm going to put that in motion, put a jacket on, and I'll be ready to go. Is there anything on the ground with that?
No, nothing on the ground.
Okay, because they issued it until 6:30.
KPRC 2 News begins right now with a severe weather alert.
Right now at 6, a severe weather alert. This is a live look at the Storm Tracker 2 radar. The KPRC 2 Storm Tracker team monitoring a tornado threat as powerful storms continue to move across our area.
Yeah, we have you covered with real-time conditions on the road, keeping you weather aware, which is very important for today. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Daniela Guzman.
And I'm Andy Sirota. Keith has the night off. Let's get right over to Frank.
Yeah, tornado warning's been issued until 6:30 for western Harris County.
Okay.
This line of storms that you're going to see has been moving at some 60 miles an hour. So even if there's not a tornado with this, there's strong wind with it. So be careful. This is what we're watching. Whenever we see that green and that red, this indicates that winds that are moving away from the radar in the red, and then continues to show these green, which is moving toward the radar. So when you have any kind of wind going away and wind going toward, then you're obviously got some kind of a spin going. So that's why that has been issued. And this is a fairly remarkable difference, because this is not just green on red. This is a bright green against the red. And that indicates a really strong spin. So this may well end up being a tornado. If it gets to the ground, we'll see. But I can guarantee you that up in that sky, there is some shear going on in a circular motion, because you just, if nothing else, you could get a straight line wind out of this. This is very common, in fact, from what I've seen, to see a straight line wind, and those can be 100 miles an hour hitting the ground. So this is going to be a wind system, tornado or straight line, I don't know, but you need to really watch out, especially if you're in the Cypress area. I want to get really close in on this, because this is really where I think we're going to have to watch out for. So I'm going to keep going in as close as I can here. And that makes sense to be able to see. You see, there's the Grand Parkway there, Tuckerton Road, North Bridgeland, the whole Bridgeland area in Cypress. You need to watch out there. Now, it's moving quickly. When you have a system like this that's going at 60 miles an hour, it was in Giddings an hour and a half ago, and now it's in the Houston area as this continues to move on through. So let me back this out a little bit for you. In fact, probably the easiest way would just be go to the metro area here so that you can see. And I'll also put this on the radar or the radar reflectivity, or what we call radar, so that you can see this. and take a look at that. So let me take some of this off. I know there are a lot of boxes here. This is the threat area. So here's Houston, get a sense of that. There's not only the tornado warning that's in effect, that's going until 6:30, but in addition to that, just to the north and south is also this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. So you may not get the tornado, but this whole line is a dangerous line, and it's a system that's moving pretty quickly. I want to put a motion of 1 hour on this. We're going to go to a live pick at 290. I think, so I want to show you that right now because you can see, look at this line. Look, this is 1 hour of radar. Look how quickly this moves across the area. This is the only thing we're going to have to worry about. There you go. So if you are in 290 area, that's, like I said, the Bridgeland and Cypress area. Not only are you seeing, look at those live lightning shots, not only with the lightning, but with the dark clouds. You look off to the right there, there's the live lightning shots. Clearly, a lot of heavy rain coming with that. That looks like Gage Golding is in the storm tracker with us. I mean, you're just going into the jaws right now. That is for sure. As you continue to move in this direction, I can promise you they're going from east to west along 290, probably in the Cypress area and continuing. There's the sign that says Austin, so they're going toward the 290 area for sure. So that's what they're watching right there on 290. I mean, the skies have just gone to pitch black. The only thing lighting them up are lightning bolts. There's going to be heavy rain with this, but the good news to that part of it is when you have a storm line moving as quickly as this one is, and it's moving at 60 miles an hour, the problem is the wind. Obviously, lightning is dangerous, tornadoes if they form and reach the ground. But the good news is that the rain, because it's moving so quickly, the rain is not going to be a big issue because it's just moving too fast to produce a lot of rain. Now, they've had that issue up to the north of us where they've had 4 and 5 inches from College Station to Livingston today, but they have not had that. We have not had that out to the west because this particular line that's moved out of Austin to Giddings, right across to Waller County, and is now moving into Harris County, that has not produced to significantly heavy rain, maybe a half an inch to an inch of rain. So it's more about the lightning and the wind and the tornado threat with this. So there again, in fact, you can see how these boxes are advanced. This is just 1 hour. And in 1 hour, Brenham's clear. Brenham an hour ago had a tornado warning, and now they're fine. It's moved out of here, and it's now into Harris County. So what we're seeing now, I'm going to this is what we call a storm tracker. So that gives you an idea right there. Hockley 608, which we're almost to. Linwood Heights 616, Rose Hill, Cypress Mill 616, 617, Cypress Ridge, Hyde Park. 100% chance of hail. When a storm can produce hail like this, it's certainly capable of producing a tornado because you're getting that much updraft. The reason I always say that is to get this kind of hail, you have to take all of that moisture and put it way up in the sky where it freezes and comes back down as hail. Well, if you can do that, then you can get an updraft into that storm that will turn anything that's trying to spin, it will turn it, and it will become a tornado coming out of that cloud. So you need updraft, winds going up, you need updraft in order to get a tornado to form, and you need updraft to produce that kind of hail. So we've got that hail that's been indicated, so certainly this could produce a tornado. We do have the tornado warning. It's in effect until 6:30 on either side of that, and that took me right back to that skid again. In addition to that, we have a severe thunderstorm warning to the south and to the north of that until 6:15. So when you look at this, and I'll go out a little more on this just to give you an idea of what else is going on, because I know it's not the only game in town. We have this severe thunderstorm warning, which has been right there around Cleveland and Liberty County. So that gives you an idea there that this system is moving toward Honeyland and Wildwood and Hyatt and Hickspaw between now and 6:30. Also capable of producing 100% chance of hail, 80% chance of 2-inch size hail. So that is going to continue to be a problem. Also, we can zip in here a little bit with this system. So now it wants to take me out. Let's go in here and I'll show you. This is, put it in motion. This is the last hour. And I'm going to take there's so many boxes. I just want to take all these boxes off. But there's a severe thunderstorm warning, and then all these red and green boxes are flood watches and flood warnings. So we'll just take those off for a moment, and then I'll put this in motion for an hour. And you can see I left the red arrows on because those do a great job of showing us what direction these storms are moving, so you can get an idea that these are coming toward you. But notice in the last hour, and I'll take it even to the last 3 hours, you'll notice that this whole area just continues to be rained on hour after hour after hour. So just keep your eye right here. This is from 4 to 5 to now 6. This whole area, just more and more and more and more rain. And so we have seen some very heavy showers moving through with this, and it looks like we're going to continue to see more because this whole area that you see moving out of Conroe, that is headed your way. So until this line right here that we've been talking about, until this line right here, until that comes through, you're going to be dealing with rain up here. Now, this will push it all out of here, but it's going to take it another hour, hour and a half to do that. So until that gets through here, you are going to be dealing with rain in this particular area across Montgomery County, Liberty County, into Livingston. It looks like it's lightened up a little bit in northern Polk County. So the big problem is where you see this purple area here in northwest Harris County. That area out 290 in Harris County, that is treacherous looking. Gage Golding is in our Storm Tracker 2. Gage, welcome to Houston.
Yeah, this is out our front view right now. Our speed is about 10 miles an hour because that's how hard the wind is blowing. We're driving westbound right now on 290. Wow, look at that flash of lightning. A lot of people actually pulling over on the side of the road. This is real-time speed on the interstate that you're seeing right here. It is crawling because, let me see if I swing this camera around, you get a better look. Yeah, look at the blowing. You saw the difference in how the camera was kind of clean versus whenever I swing it around towards the front of the vehicle, it gets ugly pretty quick. People at an absolute crawl here. It looks like some sort of emergency vehicle possibly in the other lanes. But yeah, it kind of turned on real quick, Frank. The whole time you were talking about how quickly these storms are moving. Yeah, no joke. They are really moving quick because we were fine up until about 5-10 seconds before you came to us here. And you can probably hear the vehicle being battered. And the camera just doesn't really do it justice. I don't know if you can see it coming down in sheets here off of our dash cam video here, but you definitely see the hazard lights on from the folks. But up on the interstate here, this is 290. Westbound is where the headlights are going. I can't even zoom in because, look, between the flashes of the lightning.
Gage, it looks like the rain. It looks like the rain. It looks like the rain is just wind-driven like crazy at you.
Yes. Oh, here, look down at the ground here.
Holy
we
cow.
are moving less than 20 miles an hour. Yeah, you can see it coming down in sheets here.
Is that hail falling? Are you getting any hail out there? It looks like hail.
Yes, that is hail. You hear it against the vehicle right now?
Yes, I do. So you've got hail,
so
wind-driven rain. Yep, there you go.
Definitely a lot of wind-driven rain out here. Let me throw our front camera on again.
It looks like ping pong ball size hail.
Yes.
Be careful. I mean,
I've got. Hear it.
There's every indication that you could be in the midst, at least, of a tornado in that area. And those are the worst kind because they're what we call rain-wrapped tornadoes. In other words, because the wind is so strong and the rain is there, the wind is wrapping the tornado in rain and you can't see it.
Yeah, we're completely stationary right now for the most part. You could probably hear it. Just how intense this is. Let me swing this camera back around to our backside. Wow, you can see that is a terrible idea what this person's doing.
There's the thunder.
That is not a good idea.
What is that person doing?
Actually, I'm going to swing you can see some branches on the road here. That person actually just drove what looked like kind of into the median almost.
Oh, wow.
Frank, we're seeing some tree debris on the ground, some limbs possibly, to give you an idea, but this is our dash camera. You might be able to get a good view here. But the visibility is down to, what do you say, 25 feet maybe? No, oh, wait, here, Frank, do you see this right in front of us here? Big tree limb down. Let me see if I can swing this camera around. Right
Well,
in front of this
last
vehicle,
summer
this truck.
last summer we had such a drought. It was so hot and it was so dry. A lot of these trees, they didn't die completely, but part of them did. And these branches are very vulnerable to these kind of winds, because nobody's going to trim their trees like they should. They just don't. We don't. We should, but we don't. But look at
And
that.
we're not talking little limbs here. Look at that. That's a big limb that fell off here. You guys see that? Let me try to switch the camera around a little bit more.
And that's the kind of limb that
Look
if
at
it
that.
falls on you when you're driving, it may not hurt your car, but it will cause you to have a terrible wreck because it'll scare the heck out of you.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the dangerous thing. You saw that person kind of whiz by us there. No one is in a hurry at this point. This is kind of, you got to be safe because, man, it really came up on us. Look, there's some more right in front of us. I don't know if you can see it here. But the wind-driven rain it's been moving kind of in every direction. I don't know what that can help you with.
Well,
Frank, in terms of
because
what
there's
we're
a
seeing here,
circular
but it's-
motion going on. That's why. Because there's a tornado warning in effect, and we may not see one on the ground, but in the upper atmosphere, it is rotating.
Oh, yeah, look here.
And so you've got this circular
Yeah,
motion spinning.
Yeah, and we can see it. I don't know if my camera can spin around that side. Let me see if I can get around our backside here. There's a lot of tree debris. You see that from properties off on the, oh, here. This might even be a road sign in front of us.
That wouldn't
Or
surprise me
something.
at all.
A fence, possibly? Let me see if we can get this camera swung back around. We got this top-mounted camera that might be able to give you a better look. Man, this is prime conditions of if you don't have to go out, do not dig deep in the fridge tonight for something to eat, because these are not the conditions that are worth.
We have
going out.
Gage. We have your shot up, and we also have the radar shot up. And I think people are probably wondering why there's that white color on the radar. That's an indication of hail. And so this storm is full of hail. So we not only have the wind,
Yes.
the wind-driven rain, and I mean the hail you're seeing looks to me to be almost golf ball size, at least an inch, if not almost an inch and a half or two.
I would say it's at one point it was golf balls, probably, or it sure sounded like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be outside. That's for sure.
And now,
and
what's
just look
going
at
on to the
debris
left
on the
of
road
you?
here.
What's going on to the left of you there?
To the left of us, this is 290 just backed up. This 290 westbound.
So you're on the
that's
feeder?
just backed up entirely. I'm on the feeder right now, yes, sir.
Gage, I also need to, I need to
290.
break in on you just a little bit to show everyone that the tornado watch has now been extended for Harris County. We'll get back to you in just a moment, and we can even keep you up, but I need the camera to come to me here in the Storm Tracking Center. Thank you. Just to show you what's going on here. This is a tornado warning that's now been issued until 6:45. So, and you can see the motion on this is more southeast, right into downtown Houston by 6:45. So we have this that's going on. I'll move this so you can see all that. We have this in the Cypress area where Gage is. He's right up 290 right now. That is continuing to move southeast very quickly. I mean, this whole line is moving at 50 to 60 miles an hour. This is going to continue to move through. I mean, at 6:45, it will be in downtown Houston. So in the next 30 minutes. So this gives you time to get pool umbrellas down and garbage cans out of the way, and anything that's outside your home, secure it, because these winds, as you're seeing from Gage's reporting, these winds are fierce. This is wind-driven rain like crazy. If you can pull your car in just because of the threat of hail, I would do that if you can, because you just can't be too careful. And if you can stay indoors, absolutely don't get out in this. Just give it a break, whatever your plans are, because this is going to, you're probably fine right now. You've been seeing the clouds all day, not much has happened, and you're thinking, well, I got to go run to the store real quick. But this is going to be on us so fast. I can show you in 1 hour. It's not even in Harris County. And then boom, not only is it here, but it's here with tornado warning. So it's moving very, very quickly across the area. Now, I want to take the warning off just so you can see what we're looking at here, especially in the Cypress area. So look, so you see that area right there? That's the purple and the black. I'll tell you, I mean, that's not only a hail signature, that is a tornado signature very, very often, right up 290. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I can tell you, we're under a tornado warning. So let me just show you what we call the relative velocity. And you see that bright green and that red? When you have that right next to each other, and I can pull this out a little bit, but when you have that right next to each other, that's an indication of winds that's going away from the radar and wind that's going toward the radar. So when you have that and these bright green areas, that is a classic signature for straight line winds. And by that I mean wind that comes out of the clouds and hits the ground and goes straight out. It's like if you pointed your hose at the driveway, you know what happens to that water. That water hits that driveway and then it just expands outward very quickly. So that is a classic from Tomball to Cypress to Katy, especially now Jersey Village. I can in fact just look at this, and you've got 57-mile-an-hour shear. Shear is a fancy word for wind, but look at that coming in. 57, almost 60-mile-an-hour winds being reported with that. This is probably a little less so, but up toward Tomball, that just changed. I'm going to see if I can get that one back again. Right now it's 617, Tomball, Klein, 623, 632, 633 to Augusta Creek Gardens. So that's what we're looking at on that. So let me go back to the radar, take some of all of this off so that you can see what's going on. But the notch that I was seeing isn't as pronounced as it was, and we always look for a comma, a notch, because that indicates a circular motion that could be going on. There still is that right around Jersey Village, but I'm seeing back towards Cypress, away from that notch, is where I'm seeing the purple. So they're not lined up. If they were lined up, I'd be more concerned about an actual tornado, but I'd be just as concerned about the very strong straight line winds coming in on that. So let's take that off, and I'll give you a 1 hour motion. That always gives you, just looking at the radar, a lot of times will give you an idea of just where this stuff is going, so we can actually pull this out a little bit. And this whole area that's been moving across Montgomery County, that's going to leave you folks up there. I know that you're like, what about us? Liberty County into Polk County, San Jacinto County, I know that you folks there have been dealing with this rain all day, and you're already flooded. So I know you're wanting to know when this is going to get out of here, but it's going to take this part of the storm that you see in Montgomery County. That's got to come through, and then it's over. But it will be. And if you look at you look at 1 hour of radar, look at 3 hours of radar, and you'll see how fast this has been moving. So I'll put this in motion, and the last 3 hours, this was in Round Rock. And in 3 hours, it's already into Montgomery County. That's a fast motion for a storm like this. So it's really been moving quickly. In the last hour, it's been moving quickly also. And this is where we're finding it right now. From the woodlands, these can be strong storms into Fulshire and down toward Wharton County. I don't think they're as severe. We don't have any, I'll put this back on, I don't have any severe thunderstorms in that particular area. Let me take the lightning back off. In that area, what I have is a severe thunderstorm warning. That's until 7 o'clock now. That's new. That just got issued. So let me see if I can tighten this up a little bit. Wrong way. Let's go back in here. So this is a severe, and this, okay, I've never seen this before. I've never seen the word destructive put in front of severe thunderstorm warning. I think that is a clear indication from the National Weather Service. This is exactly that. This is, I know we get a lot of different kind of severe thunderstorms around here. Sometimes we just get a big lightning show and that's it. Sometimes we get heavy rain and that's it. But this whole area, the woodlands, right across now off to eastern Harris County and continuing down to Hobby Airport and then back towards Sugar Land. That whole blinking yellow area is a severe destructive thunderstorm warning until 7 p.m. What's the destruction from? Wind. That's what it's going to be. The wind coming in that's driving this thing at 60 miles an hour. Fortunately, if you'll accept that word, nothing's going to stop it. So it's not going to just stall and start raining lots and lots of rain, but it is a destructive storm that's been moving through. We also have this tornado warning that has also been extended until 6:45. Daji's been watching that at the sidelines. Daji, what you got?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we have this line of storms pushing through into now closer to the loop. So what we want to show you here is if you're not in the worst of the storm where we see those reds and yellows, it's coming your way. So places like U of H as well as into Uptown, you're just going to be looking at here in the next, some for 10 minutes and the next 30 minutes for this line to move on through. So let me draw that out for you here. This is going to continue to press into, once again, as Frank mentioned, places like Hobby. Some of these thunderstorms that we are being issued are being associated with some very high winds, 60 to 80 mile per hour winds potentially coming through the city of Houston. So once again, Energy Park 6:37 p.m., Hobby around 6:51, could even be sooner than this. This has been moving pretty quickly, and this is going to continue to cross through the east side of town. So if you're watching from Pasadena, well, just know that you will also be noticing the chance for some very gusty storms. Now, there have been some reports of down trees and power lines, and as we talked to Gage earlier, hail as well. Most of that was well to the west of the city, but we could see those same impacts once again coming into places like East Haven as well as into Memorial Park as we come in the next few minutes here as this storm system continues to move its way around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Now, the winds associated with the storm that are knocking down the trees are around that, once again, 60 to 80 mile per hour window. So with that being said, just going to reiterate what we have going on right now. We are continuing to see that tornado warning in effect. That does include the city of Houston, and that's going to continue here. And let me get that over for you. So that's going to continue here through 6:45. So if you are in Houston, Greater Houston, the Loop or not, you are included in this. Jersey Village right now still in that tornado warning, and you're still in the worst of it at this point in time. We are going to once again see some hail out towards Jersey Village. That's what that purple always indicates. We're also noticing into Mission Bend, even though you're on the tail end of this, you're going to notice that wind continue to howl and pick up speed, and that's going to continue to come into places like Spring Valley, starting to hit some of that heavier rain there, and that's going to make its way into that greater Houston area. So as we continue along Interstate 10, if you have any travel plans, I would suggest finding that safe place. Once again, we do have a tornado warning, so try to go somewhere where you can get out of the car, maybe a restaurant, maybe it's Walmart, you know, if you have any family and friends driving right now, and try to get yourself into one of those areas. So gonna clear this out for you so we can get a better look at the entire line that is rolling through. Spring, you are also included in that new severe thunderstorm warning, and that lasts until, as well as Kingwood, until 7 p.m. So if you're in Spring, Kingwood, Tomball, as well as along the Southwest Freeway, we are currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. We're going to continue to see that extending to the east. I think that's important to note here. So places like Channelview, Crosby, it seems like this is far away, but in reality, since it has been moving pretty quickly, this could also bring in those damaging winds. We are going to be looking at the chance for, we'll try to get some numbers in terms of power outages, but when we're talking about 60 to 80 mile per hour winds and some of these places where it's already been saturated like Kingwood, we could be looking at some more power outages along this line. So something to be mindful of. But once again, if you're in Houston, you're going to start to notice that rain picking up. We're also noticing, once again, Energy Park. Many of us, this is probably the worst time of day. Many of us are trying to get to work or pick up the kids from school. It's about to be 6:30 here, and this massive line of storms continues to track through. So if you know, once again, I keep reiterating this, anyone who is on the road right now, tell them to go to a big building. I said a Walmart, a Target, something like that, that could keep them protected. You're going to continue to notice this pushing into, once again, Interstate 10, eventually hitting 45 at the heart of the city. So I'll give you some more of those times here right now as we head closer. Let me click on this for you so we can get some updated times. So Memorial Park, NRG, Brookhaven, you're going to be coming around this. It says the speed is 30. I think it's a little faster than that compared to what we have seen, as Frank mentioned, over the last hour or so. It has been flying through, and it continues to move through. So I'm naming these big areas because we are going to be looking at a massive amount of people trying to get home along Interstate 10 back through 45 as well. And going to clear that out for you one more time so you can see the entirety of the line. I am still going to be concerned about those cities out towards our east. That includes places like Hobby, Pasadena. If you're in Galena Park, even though we are far removed from the line of storms, it's going to continue to move on in. Jersey Village still in the worst of it, and this line will continue to press into places like the Heights as well as into Brookhaven as we head through the rest of tonight. Frank, have we have any updates on any new warnings or anything like that? Or
no, but I'd be interested to see, Gage, if we can get Gage, because 290 is clearing up toward the northwest. I mean, this storm system was in Brenham 1 hour ago, and now it's here in Houston, and it's almost there. There he is. Gage, what, if you can hear us, what part of 290 are you on now? And are you still headed west, or are you headed back toward town?
So we are 290 eastbound near Barker Cypress Road eastbound right now. You can see the westbound traffic over here. That is stationary. Everybody going westbound stationary. I'm swinging the camera back around east, and you can see eastbound's clear. So we're heading towards the city, but westbound traffic, no bueno over there, Frank.
No, not at all. And I can imagine that they're slowed down because of ponding on the road and limbs like you saw, and quite possibly accidents. But you're headed back toward downtown, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're headed back towards downtown right now, kind of chasing the tail end of this into the Jersey Village area. And you can kind of even see by the lightness in the sky, it looks a little bit more like daytime and not like midnight compared to the last time we talked to you, which is a big deal, right? But we're still, getting those bands of strong wind where the rain is being pushed by the wind, pushing vehicles around. You can even see some people here with their hazard lights on still.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back to you in just a second. I wanted to show people something about the power outages. We're seeing a lot of those. I can see in Waller County, we've got very heavy, very strong power outages. I know 13,000 is what I'm being told in Harris County right now. 13,000. Oh, I take that back, 113,000 power outages. So let's go back to the radar here and show you what we're watching. This is not only a threat, and I think there's some good news, not only a threat coming in with the tornado threat, but clearly the wind threat also. So if you look at what we've been seeing here, I'll put those boxes back on. This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 7. This is a tornado warning until 6:45, so that's another 20 minutes on that. The one behind it, where you see things are clearing, is until 6:30. So when you look at this whole area that's the most dangerous part of the storm right now, clearly it's already getting out of the Cypress area. So in the last hour, it has moved all the way from all the way from the west of Hempstead right into Jersey Village, and now it's starting to come inside the 610 loop. So you can see how quickly this is moving, but what moves it is wind. Generally, it's been moving 40 to 45 miles an hour. Earlier, it was moving at 60 miles an hour. So it has slowed a little bit, but it hasn't slowed a lot, and that kind of wind is going to continue to cause problems. Now, if you look at the tornado threat, see how that curves in, that little notch right there? That's what we always look at. Whenever you get that kind of a motion coming in like that, that's what we call a notch. That can very often be a tornado. So with that being said, I want to, let's take that off for a second. That being said, I want to look at this on the reflectivity, which is to say the winds and the different wind shear that's coming. The velocity is what I'm saying here, because you look at that, and there you have the red and the green. And look how close those are, and look how bright that green is. That's very strong wind. That's the 45, 50, 60 mile an hour wind that is rushing toward the radar. And then the lighter winds, but there's still enough to be a difference, are in the red. And so you have that juxtaposition of wind going away from the radar and wind coming toward the radar. And Doppler is all about wind. That's exactly what Doppler means, is wind and the rushing sound of wind and how wind reacts. So that's what this is all about. And you can see pretty clearly that there is wind that's headed one way, and then there's wind that's headed another way. And that's why this tornado warning is in effect, because this could be, I guarantee you there's some spin going up in the upper atmosphere. I suspect that there is there is as well. I know that when there is lightning within 5 miles of the airport, the tarmac closes down. They won't let workers get the luggage on or get the luggage off on the tarmac if there's lightning around the airports. And certainly there is up at Bush, and it's getting very close. It looks like the Hobby, maybe not yet, but I doubt there's a whole lot of air traffic around the area right now. So just be aware of that. Here's a look then, and I can erase some of this stuff, clear it out, and I'll put back the reflectivity, the radar back on here so that you can see what's going on. And I'll widen this out a little bit too. So we'll take that off. There we go. So the northern part of this storm, which we've been waiting to have it move out, is finally doing that. So if you look at the last hour, all of these showers up around Conroe toward Livingston are finally moving out of here, because this line, this part of the line, that's what's got to continue to move through. But sure enough, that is what is finally moving through, and that's what will help all of you folks to the north who I know don't need the rain and are getting it. That's going to continue to move on through. So I'll take the lightning off, but I do want to show you how much we're getting. Look at that. Everything you're seeing here, all the way back in the 900 to 1,000 mark as far as the lightning strikes that we're seeing. That's a lot of lightning. So take that off, and I'll take the lightning off. You can see, and this is interesting, when you get, let me put that on the now. You get a storm heading this way and heading this way, all these different arrows. That's an indication of circulation in and of itself, because what the radar is telling us is that you're getting winds going in all these different directions. And I think that's what's happening. I think, you know, if I hit that, then that will indicate that that some of these places to the north. So look, see how quickly that changed it. So that, because it's trying to say, okay, they're not really going to get hit by more of this. They are. So this is going to go off to the southeast, east-southeast, 54 miles an hour. 100% chance of hail. And look at the hail size that this radar is forecasting, 2.25 inches. So that's golf ball size hail for sure. Westfield and Aldine, a Bush Intercontinental at 6:40, that's in 8 minutes. Parker Wood Estates, Greenwood Village, Westfield Estates between 6:40 and 6:44. So A, it tells you how fast this is moving. B, this is a wide area that's anywhere from I-45 and really still to the west of that. Now this is what we just got this to pop up, that circulation right there, and look where that is. Exactly where I was just showing you, where we're getting the green going into the red. You're getting that notch, that comma effect, and that's exactly why the radar has put this circulation on there. If you are in this area, you're under a tornado warning. And while nothing has been spotted, the thunderstorm signature is that there could be a tornado. Let's go back and look again at that velocity. And you can see right there where the green and the red is maxing out right there. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some very strong shear. In fact, when we look at some of this, we've got weak shear. We look at this. Strong shear, which means, again, shear is a fancy word for wind. Very strong winds being indicated there. So if nothing else, you're getting very strong wind. So you may not be getting a tornado, but all indications are that with this velocity signature, with the red and the green right there, all indications are that there's a spin in the atmosphere. So please be careful in this area. This is what Emerson Place, Calgary Words, North Shadydale, East Houston even. Houston Heights, let me pull this out a little bit more. So sometimes you get too close and you can't tell quite where you are. This is just south of Aldine, north of downtown. So this is 45 coming into 610 right there. That's a 610 loop right around there. And this is notching into this area just north of downtown and just past the 610 loop on your way to Bush Intercontinental. So that's where that would be. And this continues to be, take some of this off here. This continues to be a tornado warning until 6:45. So another 9 minutes on that.
And
I have a live picture I want to go to.
Oh, okay.
Live picture where? Bush Intercontinental? Is that what we're seeing now on the screen? Okay. Who's in that storm tracker? Do you know? Oh, look at that. Wow. I'm sorry. Who did you say was in there? Okay. Greg, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, I know it's a photog driving. But I mean, other than what we're seeing, what's he seeing? It looks like it's just come upon.
Hey, Frank, I'm here.
Okay, good. So I see the lightning that's going on there. What are you saying? I'm not seeing a ton of rain falling just yet, but you probably are a better judge of that.
Yeah, no, what your assessment is accurate. There's not a ton of rain falling right now. The lightning is all off in the distance, kind of south and southwest. The wind, though, has really picked up considerably here in the last few minutes, and You know, listening to your report, it's clear that this is going to get worse before it gets better here. You know, headed south for the next few minutes.
Okay, we're getting another tornado warning being issued. Sorry, I was distracted. You said not a ton of rain, but the winds. Are the winds like the kind that you have to really battle against when you're driving up 45?
Yeah, absolutely. The truck is getting blown over the road here a pretty good bit, and you know, obviously the rain is getting blown around a pretty good bit as well. So it's making visibility a little harder to see than normal, but traffic's still moving right now. But
yeah, be careful. Okay, thank you. We can keep that up. I do want to talk about this new tornado warning that's been issued. This is until 7 o'clock. So as this moves along, that doesn't mean that you're out of the woods back out to the west by any means. In fact, we were just seeing this whole area going to the north. So that region off to the north is what we are watching there. So we're continuing to see that, and then we will continue to see this going off toward Galena Park and Channelview, Pasadena, and Hobby. I'm guessing. Can you give me an idea, Trey? What kind of ground stops do we have at Bush and at Hobby? I know that we can look those up pretty easily, but I imagine they're pretty serious in those areas. So there's a look. Again, this is the new tornado warning. I want to back this out just so you can get a sense of exactly where this is. Okay, ground stop at Bush until 7, ground stop at Hobby until 7:15. Probably the good news for travelers, in a sense, is that this is moving so fast. In fact, if you just look at the last hour, you can see this was all the way out toward the Brenham area an hour ago and just raced into Harris County. And so now, to the northwest, we're actually seeing clearing of the rain, and then Katy still has some light rain, but that's beginning to clear also, and this whole area is beginning to push pretty quickly. Conroe, you're starting to see that line move right through you and get on out of here. So Magnolia and Stagecoach, you're looking a lot better, and then as we go toward the Woodlands, it's looking better, at least the Woodlands on the west side of 45. On the east side, still under it. Bush Intercontinental and Jersey Village, and obviously in the Houston area. And then this line, I'll put the lightning on just so you can see what's going on. The good news is the line as we go down to the south around Wharton County, not a lot of lightning there. So the showers are not too significant. That's not to say they're not strong, but they're not strong enough to warrant any kind of a severe thunderstorm warning. But that's what we absolutely have across Harris County. So here's the tornado watch. I know we have a lot of clickers going on around here. So there's the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning that are in effect. We are under tornado watch until 10 o'clock. That's going to be dropped. Once this line moves through, you're good. This is the only game in town. So once this moves through, I think we're in the clear. And given the way it's been moving I mean, you couldn't drive from here to Brenham in 1 hour. But that line has, as a bird flies, that has gone from here to Brenham in an hour.
And I want to speak to that, Frank, how fast is moving and some of the winds that we saw in the upper levels. They've been reported at 102 when we looked at some of that velocity there. So here's some of the images that we're getting from our Click2 pins. This is a down tree. There are now over 300,000 power outages across the area. So that's something to keep in mind. If you know somebody who lost power, make sure they have a way to get alerts as we continue to see that tornado warning in effect. The other part of this storm outside of the line is still the heavy rain that we have to the north in those saturated areas. So I'm going to show you a graphic here. This is, once again, some of this is radar estimated, and we probably do have some higher amounts as we saw here looking at some stuff on social media, but this gives you an idea that some areas seeing 3 to 5 inches in a short amount of time in areas that have already been saturated. So we're getting also pictures out of places like Huntsville that have cars sitting in water once again, and that's because we've already been saturated. Now here in Houston, I want to show you at least the northwestern quadrant quadrant is where we've noticed some of those rain picking up really quickly with that line of storms. So you are going to be running into ponding if you are, once again, even on the front or back side of this. There's likely still ponding on the roads here out to Buffalo Bayou, Peak Road, and a Prince Creek Drive. So if you are along Interstate 10, headed west or east or south of this in any of these Morton Road and South Maid Creek, if this sounds familiar to you, just know right now is not the time to leave the house. And we can see there that a lot of people are continue along the Southwest Freeway. Is that live look out there? The rain's coming down and lots of lightning, and that is going to make it difficult to go through on top of these rainfall totals that are coming close to ½ an inch in some spots here across portions of Houston. Now, we once again are going to continue to see images out of our northwestern counties, and I'll show you radar here in just a second, that kind of look like this. Cars are stuck, and I wish the banner wasn't right there, but that is a car stuck in water. And we continue to see, this is out of Livingston, once again, one of those areas that have been hounded by rain over the last several weeks, getting a short amount of rain. He said all of this happened in 40 minutes, and that is outstanding and unfortunate because that line of storms continues in some of those northern areas. So let's get to radar here for you and kind of zoom out and show you what we have going on with the line of storms that we are most concerned about, where we have that tornado warning, but also to the northeast. Storms have been pretty slow. Now they're starting to push to the south and east. So if you're in Livingston, just know there is some hope to come. We're going to start to dry out as this line continues to push its way to the south and east. We are still looking at that main line, however, going to continue to sweep through places like Alvin and Pearland. And we're already noticing ahead of that main line that in Alvin and Pearland, there's some feisty thunderstorms going on. So along 288, you definitely want to be cautious. Even out to Sugar Land right now, getting in some of the thick of that storm. And that's going to continue once again to press to the south and east. And you don't have to be in a severe thunderstorm warning to notice those winds and heavy downpours. Now, once again, that tornado warning is still in effect. It does include Hobby. It does include Channelville, Channelview, as well as into Pasadena. So if you are in those areas, it is time to really protect yourself. If you're at home, if we're speaking to you at home, you want to treat this like a tornado is on the ground because some of these winds are very, very strong. Once again, we're talking 60 to 80 mile per hour winds. Would you stand in front of a vehicle that was going that fast? Imagine this is that line that is coming through, and it's going to bring in, once again, some downed trees, could once again rattle some things in the yard as well. So take this seriously. Find that place in your home that is away from windows. And if that does not include the TV, turn the TV up so you can hear us, or download that app with us. But most importantly, find that place where you need to go. Once again, Pasadena included in this. This continues to press its way to the south and east. LaPorte, you're still not in the heaviest or worst of it, but it's coming your way, as well as Baytown. And so those are just some of those cities along 255 there. Lomax, Deer Park, also getting hit hard now by rain, and you'll continue to notice those winds picking up as well. And once again, another live look out towards Houston there at the Southwest Freeway. We are dealing with a lot of traffic. I'm going to reiterate this. If you know anyone stuck in this traffic and they feel concerned, tell them to go into a building that they feel safe in. Sometimes that will make you feel better as we continue to watch these storms track to the south and east.
Okay, Dodgy, we want to go to Gage's storm tracker. Look at that. That's still 290. He's headed toward town. Gage, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Frank.
Okay, just describe what you're seeing outside your window there, because what we're seeing, it looks just menacing.
Yeah, we're 290 inbound. We're about 1 mile out from the 610 loop, and traffic here, swinging our camera around from the top, is kind of starting to back up pretty good. Rain has lightened up, but we're kind of driving into what is the thick of it. So we're not really sure what has us stopped here, but it's a good visual because we're stationary to give you the kind of wind conditions. Man, you can see that lightning just firing off. That's looking towards Houston, right? That's looking towards downtown. And it looks like traffic actually here backed up in both directions. So we're heading eastbound. It looks like outbound traffic is also backed up. Something must be going on because actually there's nothing off to our side here as we pull this camera around. There's no traffic on this side, so something must have happened out here.
Probably.
Frank, I don't know, is there any indication of, it had to have been a massive accident or some sort of maybe something fell down the road, because it looks like everybody stopped right there. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Well, I can tell you, I zoomed in on where you are, 219 total strikes of lightning in your area right now. But as I go down 290 towards 610, which is your direction, there's just a lot of heavy rain, Gage, and I think what they're seeing and what they're going into is just this wall of water, and people far ahead of you are like stopping, and they don't quite know what to do. Some of them are probably pulling off the road, some are slowing down to 10 miles an hour to try to get through it, because I can back this up a little bit and just show you what is going on here. But the Gage is talking about 290 right here, and you've got that coming. He's coming down to get to the 610 loop, so he's right in this region, and then look at what everyone is driving into. That's sort of the back end of all of these showers and thunderstorms, and so they're driving into really the meat of this whole line of storms, and so I think that's what's got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey Frank, I don't know if you guys can take this full back at the in the control room. I think there might be either some metal and or power lines stretched across the road here. I have our camera maxed out and it's a little jumpy because of the wind that we're still seeing here. But are you seeing right in front of these headlights here? It looks like some sort of thin wires possibly that are stretched across the roadway, because everybody, including the express lanes in the center there, maybe it's possibly a sign structure or high tension power lines that are actually down on. You can kind of see in between the two cars there along that that barrier there. It looks like there might be something, and if that's the case, boy, this is trouble, because this is a major artery in and out of the city. 290 approaching the 610 interchange, and right now I can tell you, we can see it from our eyes. As I zoom out, we are standstill all directions.
And you are literally 1 mile from 610 to give people an idea of where this is. You may well be right, because remember we were talking about that area has the biggest threat of tornadic activity, and I said there could very easily be something in the upper atmosphere. And the difference between a funnel cloud and a tornado is a tornado reaches the ground, but you can get a funnel cloud and a big circular motion of wind that could take those power lines down in a heartbeat. So you may well be right. I don't see any street lights on, do you?
No, street lights are out, and actually now that you say that, hold on. Frank, that's a really good point to point out, because let's look off to our left here. All the businesses, yeah, it looks like there's no power.
No, there's no power. I think you're right. I think there are probably power lines down. I can't imagine them being down on the freeway, because they're all buried and they all go up the poles of the street lights. I mean, we don't have lines just around, but I don't know. I mean, there may be something. Because you're right, you are at a dead stop.
Obstruct the traffic there.
Yeah, it's a dead stop in both directions. So there's something in both directions that has everything stopped, and it's either metal or power lines or something. But
and this is a good example of, if you see down power lines, you do not know if they are energized or not, and it is never worth the risk to try to get across those, whether driving or not. But as you see, we're zoomed in here, Frank. We're still seeing some wind moving our truck back and forth. That's why the camera's jumping around like that, because we're parked. We're stationary. We're not moving at all. But
and I've never seen this before.
Something's across the road.
I've seen a completely stopped lane going one way, and rubberneckers slowing down the lane in the other direction. Okay, that's fairly common, but I've never seen both lanes of a major highway at a complete standstill like you're seeing right now. And it's not high water, we know that. So I don't know what it is. How do you have both lanes at a standstill in the exact same place?
Yeah, mind you, this is 4 lanes each way.
Yeah, and it's exactly the same place, right?
There.
And where they're coming toward you is where you're stopped going toward town.
Yep, because you can see the tail lights end right there where that box truck is in the middle lane.
Yep, it's the same spot.
Looking to the left, the express lanes are closed, and everybody's just stopped.
And nobody's even trying to get off and
wanting to get to dinner. Yeah,
nobody's even trying to go renegade, and you see that a lot. I'll just go this way and get off the freeway. Nobody's even trying to do that. So there's something we don't know that they do that are in the front of the line there, and they're like, I'm not moving. And I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
what you showed us earlier that all the power's out. So your guess that there's maybe some kind of power line down is a good guess, but
You know what? As I look over here, Frank, the rain is letting up a little bit here. Let me see if I can spin this camera over here. You see those high tension lines coming from that little?
yeah.
I'm thinking this is power lines, because that's a high tension system right there.
And it's
that high
down.
voltage lines that it's crossing across. And if I can zoom in here, let's see if we can find them to where they fall down, or maybe a point of failure. And you can see that lightning still just firing in the background. Here they're up there, but as we come across, maybe it looks like a couple are hanging down, possibly.
I think that's an
that?
excellent guess. I mean, until we know, we don't know. But that's a good guess, because what else is going to stop all this? I mean, you're looking at 10 lanes of traffic, if not more, in both directions. You've got all these people at the exact same spot, not going anywhere. And I've never seen this before in Houston. And believe me, I've seen a lot of traffic jams, but I've never seen this. And it's not high water. We had heavy rain, but not enough to pond and stop traffic on the freeway. We've seen that before on I-10, where people just couldn't go. But we're not seeing that. And now an emergency vehicle is, I guess, going to come and try to find out what's going on.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, this is a big problem, because now there's nowhere for these emergency vehicles to go. As you can see, what looks like a fire truck back here in the distance. I don't know how they're going to have to play a mad game of traffic to try to get through here.
It's almost like even the shoulders are blocked. Are the shoulders blocked also?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, people that are trying to think that they're just going to get around traffic have blocked the shoulders pretty much on all sides. But what is this? It looks like damage or something up in here. I don't know if that's just debris, or, Frank, I don't know what that could be.
That could be anything from a
definitely looks
plastic
like power
bag to a
lines.
piece of metal. I mean, you just don't know. But if people aren't even taking the HOV, if they're stuck on the HOV lane there, then something's going on.
Yeah.
Because everybody I
And it
know will
looks
try to take a way out. They'll do their best to find a way out, and nobody's finding one.
Something's flapping in the wind up here, too. I don't know if that's related.
It's quite the mystery.
But it surely is. And nonetheless, like we said, this is a huge problem for people that are trying to get around, because this is a main artery to get to the 610 loop that's shut down completely. And look, that fire truck's still way back there and all that traffic. Gonna have to fight through all that to try to get up here. But still at an absolute standstill. Some folks that look like they're trying to get off, maybe you can see the loop right there. That's the exit to the loop. 10
Yeah,
loop.
they're back. We're back on you there. Okay, that's the exit to the loop there. I know our assignments people are efforting to find out exactly what's going on, but I don't think, who do you call? Because I don't think the police know. I don't think the fire people know. I don't. Maybe.
Is it safe for them to get out in these conditions? That's the other big question too, Frank, because we're seeing a lot of lightning out here, and you don't want to put a first responder's life in harm's way to get some traffic moving.
I mean, we might try to call the power company. I mean, if indeed it's a power issue or a power line issue, they might know, but I don't know. But I've just never seen such a stop like this.
In those vehicles.
To have a stop like this in both directions and it not be high water, that's crazy. And it almost speaks to some kind of power line, like you suggested 20 minutes ago when we first started talking about this. That may be well what it is. And now it's almost like, here's what's crazy. It's only 5 to 7. It's very likely you'll see the sun come out in the next hour, because this whole line's moving away, and you could certainly see some breaks in the sky. And then what, right?
I don't think so.
I guess we'd have a better view.
And look, I'm zooming in on this car here. I don't think it's water, because I can see the rain pittering off the concrete.
How many? 632,000 power outages. Is that just in Harris County? From CenterPoint, 632,000 power outages. And it would certainly make sense that Gage is showing us the power is out up 290. And he also showed us those lines that were drooping. So the idea of power lines being across the freeway, I've never heard of that, but I guess I can't rule it out because I've never seen traffic just stop like that. And that would be enough to do it. Those people that, there may be even power lines on the front of cars and they're like, whoa, I'm not, I can't get out, I can't go anywhere. But that's.
And I think that might be the concern, Frank.
Sure.
I think that's what might have people held up, is because in this whole time we've been talking for how long now? Look, this fire truck's still trying to get through traffic. A good lesson here, always move to the right. If everybody tangos to the right, they'll be able to get to where they need to go. But you can see I'm sure this is a painstaking process for our first responders all across Houston tonight, but specifically for these guys and gals here trying to get up here, likely to rescue whoever might have these live power lines on them. You can see, they're so close to getting off this ramp.
And as you said earlier, you never know if those power lines have lost power. They could still be live power lines. So you don't want to take the chance because you just don't know.
And it looks like, I'm almost certain at this point, like I said, we got to wait for confirmation, but I would say with almost utmost certainty that this is power lines, and not just your regular power lines. This is going to be the high voltage transmission lines that have come across the street here. And if I'm not mistaken, just by the view on this fire truck, this looks like to be a technical response unit because it doesn't look like a typical fire truck. It looks like it might be one of those 18-wheelers that they use in specific situations like this, where they're conducting rescues in different situations where they need specific equipment that might not be outfitted on your run-of-the-mill engine. I'm just trying to get, dealing with these kind of things.
Well, I'm just trying to get my head around how does let's just say it is a power line. How does an entire power line go across the whole of 290? The whole, because it's not draped over 290 where it would just fall on top of 290. It's on the sides. And so what you're suggesting, which may be true, is that the wind was strong enough to dislodge that power line and push it across an entire freeway.
Well, you see that there. You can see, and you can still see that. Look at that debris that's blowing in the wind here.
Yeah, there may have been.
It looks like it's actually on a power line.
There may have been a small tornado, but enough to cause this. Because a tornado would do that. A tornado circular motion could take that wire and spin it onto the freeway. That could happen. Because then you're not talking about something going straight down.
Zoom out, you can kind of see. You can see that there is power lines that go across the freeway there. You see how they kind of go right across.
Okay,
the
I'm
top
wrong.
there?
So some of them do go across.
Which is probably pretty rare, right? Especially in a city like Houston, in our metro area where it's so big and so, you never know what kind of payload you're moving through here. And one thing I saw, I don't know, can I see him again? People getting out of their cars. Oh my gosh, is that a terrible idea? Remember, you got 4 rubber tires under you that will help keep you grounded. But getting out, especially on this wet pavement, if those lines are energized, you don't know how far that electricity can travel. And that could just, that could be tragic.
Deadly. It could be deadly.
Look at this, we got emergency responders out here.
So are those the emergency responders we see walking?
That looks like Houston.
Oh, we'll give that a minute. Gage froze up there. Okay, let me know when we get him back. We were at 668,000 power outages. I'm sure that's gone up. There are ground stops and cancellations at Bush and Hobby. You probably know that, but clearly it's a big problem. I'll widen this out just a little bit so we can get our bearings. If there's any good news, it's up to the north around Liberty County and Polk County and Livingston area. All of that has finally moved out of your area. So that's good there. So let's focus on Houston. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. A destructive one. You can see that's until 7:15 now. So there's that, and then the tornado warning, which we've been watching, that is until 7 p.m. in Harris County. I don't know how much you can see of that, but it is right there, and that goes from the east side now. So this is newly issued. There's Pasadena and Galena Park. So this is right there from right around Channelview and Deer Park and continues to Galveston Bay, basically. There's Baytown, and here's the Bay, and there's LaPorte. So this is right there on the east side. Here's I-10 just to the north there. So that's what we're looking at in that regard. So I'm going to take this out a little bit again. So that's the tornado warning, and it looks like some of this has now been canceled. I think I'm right, Dodgy. Doesn't it look like some of this has been canceled? I think all I've got now is this one severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. So that the tornado warning is done, and then that's the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have in the greater Houston area.
Okay, so we've got some that are outside our purview here a bit that are out of the Beaumont office, or Lake Charles, I should say. Okay, well, I mean, that's some good news, is that the only warning we have right now is a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15 for the east side, and then it continues into the Bay. I don't have this on here. I'm sure there are mariner warnings, so anybody that's thinking about being on the Bay, get out of there. Don't do that. I'll put this in motion for us the last hour. You can see those storms in 1 hour moving from all the way from Hempstead clear across to downtown and moving quickly, 45 miles an hour to even 50 miles an hour, producing at least upper level circulations. I don't have any reports of tornadoes on the ground, and you saw Gage's report, winds that are strong enough to maybe have dislodged power lines that have put 290 out of business. So if you have any interest in going up or down 290, east or west on 290, it's done. Do not go on 290 until this situation is resolved, because it is backed up in both directions. There's another look at this moving across. I'll take the lightning off, although let's take a quick look. 870 strikes there, but just to show you more or less what we're watching here. Now, some of these stronger storms will continue to move toward Mayfair right now, Gulf Crest, Pecan Park, Harrisburg, Park Place, Manchester, Allendale, 100% chance of hail and a chance for some severe hail. Okay, Gage, you're back. What do you know? Anything new?
Yeah, so we're looking here. If you can kind of see, you see first responders going into what looks like a white pickup truck here towards the center of your screen. They've kind of been going back and forth. These look like lines. You can see them much clearer now that the rain has dissipated a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and say this is pretty certain we got power lines, high voltage power lines down across 290, stretching the whole way across. And I'm probably 95% sure at this point, based on the way they're going vehicle to vehicle, that they may be laying on top of some vehicles, because you can see here again, they are going to vehicles. It's not like they're operating to remove the power lines. It looks like they were going to check on individuals in those vehicles.
And
at least
that was
what
your
we're seeing from where we are.
That was your very, I think, smart assumption 30 minutes ago when all this started. You thought it was power lines.
Yeah. Because, like you said, Frank, this is not something that we see often, right?
I've never seen
this
it
very often anywhere.
I've seen freeways here shut down because of high water. It happens on the Katy Freeway far too frequently, and I've seen it on the Gulf Freeway. I mean, a lot of the freeways have issues with water ponding, but that's not that issue. So I've never seen all the lanes of traffic in both directions shut down, except for what you're suggesting, power lines over the freeway. And it does, you're right. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, look at this white pickup truck here.
Yeah, I do. I see it. Look, just to the left.
It looks like it's tangled up in it.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. You can almost see the black power lines right there to the left of the truck, kind of over just over the cement wall there. That's exactly.
Yeah,
it looks like maybe it goes all the way around. And then there may be more power lines. It's hard to see exactly, but it looks like maybe right there along the freeway. And then look how it drapes over the HOV lane. And then we can't see in front of you, but
try to get them in the shot here. This is center point right here, following an HFD vehicle up.
Okay, center point wouldn't be there if it wasn't power lines. Let's face it, right? I mean.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they're responding, because it looks like they have an excavator on the back, but they just. Oh, they got all kind of equipment on the back, so they could be.
Or they could be, let's go out there with
all
everything
kinda
and figure this out.
Yeah, because once again, this is a main artery to get to this quadrant of the city that's shut down and still.
I can't even
in
imagine
traffic.
how far the backup goes in both directions.
Here, let's swing the camera around behind us here. It's a good question, Frank. Let's see what we can see.
Oh, yeah.
This
I mean,
290.
I
It looks
imagine
like
it
there's more
goes-
emergency vehicles just out of the purview of our camera that are trying to respond behind us here. Once again, there's nowhere that anybody can go except just try to get off the shoulder, and there's not even just try to take the exit. That's not even a question anymore because there's no exit to take. You can't get past. It's that exit right there is the only exit that people can get on. Oh, look, even there, it's across the exit lane too. Everybody on the exit lane's also sitting
Yep.
because power lines are down in front. And I don't know, Frank, can you see that? It looks like there's some downed trees up there. So there, you can see people interwinding between the downed trees or limbs. So this could be some signs of something tornadic, possibly, just based off of, like you said, the damage that these systems, these power lines, the infrastructure is built to.
If you go back to the
withstand
right,
a hurricane.
Gage, go back to the right a little bit. Okay, so right there, right there, those are lines that go across the freeway to the left. Just on that left side of your screen. That absolutely looks like lines to me. Now, I'm not there, so I don't know.
Look at everybody serpentining.
I know, everybody
serpentining
tries
in
their
and out of
best,
the,
that's for sure. But from what I saw, and I could be wrong, it looks like most of the lines are above the tree line, but I may be wrong. What I'm suggesting is, did the trees actually down the line? See, they're above the trees. So it's probably something more tornadic
yeah,
that did
for the most
this.
part.
I would think.
Yeah, there's the tree line right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
now
this,
I'm being told we have 800,000 power outages from CenterPoint now. So it has only obviously increased, even in the last 15 minutes, from 638,000 to 800,000. So those are
And
only
that's a
getting worse as
long
this whole
night.
line. Yeah. So are those people driving over power lines over there?
I was wondering that too. Let me swing back around. I don't think so. They might be, maybe they're being put through like a little parking lot over here or something like that because.
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Whoa. Frank, you seeing this?
Oh my gosh.
That's an entire.
well, there's the
that's
answer right
entire
there.
Support column.
There's the answer. That's the
Destroyed.
answer, Gage, right there. I guarantee you that's a tornado. That was a funnel cloud. It might have been straight line winds. It doesn't really matter, but wind did that. And they build them like that because it's hard for wind to grab onto such a thin metal like that. You know, you think that wind would just go around it. It's round and just wind doesn't like round things. It can't latch onto it. So it's built that way. So that's why I would suggest it was more than just a straight line wind, that it might have been tornadic, but the Weather Service is probably going to make that determination. It is sort of.
I imagine this will be a site of a survey in the coming hours and
I would
days here as
think.
they try to figure out.
It does look, I can't really tell from here. It looks a little like it fell straight. I mean, that's what they're going to look for. Is it circular? Does it look like it was twisted? Or does it look like it was pushed over? What do you think? Looks to me like it was twisted.
I was to say, if you see something that you want me to zoom in on, let me know and I'll do my best. But looking at the metal here, it does, yeah, because look at this main support beam that you can see here. It kind of looks as it's laying, kind of to the left towards the bottom of the screen there. It looks like almost if it was, it looks like there's some twist in it, but I can't confirm that just because we're so far away. Let me zoom out.
Well, it's hard without a before picture.
I
mean, you need a before picture, and then you can compare it to the after picture and make a better determination. So who's this guy? What's he doing?
That's Houston Police.
Okay, so
that is
they're going
walking
car to
through the
car?
Traffic. I don't know. He's probably couldn't get through here. Frank, this might be one of those scenarios where we might see a very rare instance where they turn us around here on the interstate to get this traffic out of here. I could see that happening, but
That would not be a bad idea.
He's taking the Shoe Leather Express up there, and from where we are, I was doing this right before I saw him. I want to zoom out and show you here the sign right above our heads. We are 1 mile to that exit. So whenever we punch in here, sorry, it's a little moves around a little bit on me. We're about a mile from that almost. Okay.
Sure.
So we got a distance to go. So there's
But look at
1,
that.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes of people backed up. But this took some power to bring it down.
Yeah, well, and we had, as you know, when we were reporting about an hour ago, we were saying that there's a circulation there because the red and the green, they were right next to each other, and those green colors were very bright, indicating, if nothing else, very strong 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds, or circulation of tornadic nature, which is certainly possible, and there was a tornado warning because of that. And the Weather Service, they know what they're doing. They don't put a tornado warning out just to put it out. They see something in the radar that indicates to them that's what we could have. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if this was at least a funnel cloud that reached down, and when it touches something, it's then called a tornado, and it reached down as a tornado and tore that structure up.
And you can see even this the sign here was ripped off. Another indication. This is a Chick-fil-A sign that was ripped off of its post there. I'm kind of scanning around to see if there's any, because at this point the rain has primarily stopped. We're getting a little bit of that wind, but I'm looking for any other indications of damage out here that might be able to help you out, Frank, in terms of what we're dealing with. Kind of give you a gravity of the situation. Oh, here's some more. It looks like an entire tree that was a smaller tree that was uprooted out there, right behind that little yellow sign. Let me see if I can pull a focus on it.
Well, you know,
that was a tree
you're
there.
seeing it. You showed us the sign. You show us the tree, and then we see that power line structure. I mean, that indicates more of a line of wind than a circulation of wind. Do you follow? So, I mean.
Yes, sir.
I think maybe what we were seeing is like 100-mile-an-hour straight line wind. Now, I've never known that to take down a power structure like that, because we get a lot of those. We get a lot of straight line winds, but it might have just been the actual timing and location, and you know, sometimes it just happens. So it'll be interesting to determine what the
going.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
They
to see
are
what the Weather
moving
Service
people out
determines.
manually.
I mean, you would think that CenterPoint could just cut the power to the lines, and then the first responders could just pull the lines to where they need to be, and everybody could go again, right? I mean, that's like my simpleton solution to this, but obviously it's a lot more complicated than just turning off the power and removing the lines.
Yeah, these are the main service lines that go to the substations that eventually end up at your house. And now, Frank, off to our side here, we have a brigade of Houston police and firefighters, and they are walking alongside the engine there and getting people to somehow, some way, get out of the way, because we got to get these pieces of equipment up there to try to help people. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
Nope.
That
Never.
They have to walk and escort a fire engine up on the side of a freeway.
Well, they probably want to make sure there are no lines in front of them, don't you expect? I mean, if they're seeing some power lines out, you know, they're probably like, there might be more. And the last thing they want to do is drive over that.
And what good would they be if they're not able to? And you can see drivers here starting to get a little restless, and getting out, wanting to take a look at what's going on, because we've been sitting here for the past however many minutes at this point, probably approaching a half an hour in standstill.
Oh, longer than that. We've been talking to you for 45 minutes.
Yeah, so
and it started before you got
no
there, didn't it?
progress.
I remember you were driving right up to it as it sort of all started. So this could have started even a little
Nobody has
earlier.
moved.
Yeah, those are lines on the freeway. Wow, what a story!
It makes me wonder, Frank, if these are still energized, and that's the concern.
Well,
'cause there could be a good shot. Maybe.
I think whether
maybe
they
this
are or
is a
not is a
substation here,
concern, right?
possibly.
I don't know that they could tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everyone thinks, oh, well, there's a computer back somewhere in CenterPoint. They'll just look at it and say, oh, yeah, it's still how. They may not know that way. I don't know how. I don't know if they have to have experts come out with that kind of a line and say, oh, wow, look at that. Go a little to the left. Is that a down power? That's a down power pole, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what feeds into that substation here behind this. behind that little complex. That's what feeds into that there.
So there are a
That's what I
lot
was
of
kinda
power. There are a
looking
lot
here.
of power lines down right there.
Yeah, so let's look here because you can actually see the part where it comes down from. And I wanted to show
Yep.
this to you, Frank. Look,
You
it's
showed
way
us
up at
that.
the
You
top
showed
there.
us that 30 minutes ago. Remember when
Yeah.
it was still dark? We could
Well,
see that.
Oh yeah. So
Look at
that's way at the top of that line. Oh, and look, there's another one that goes down on the backside over here, behind this
Yep.
pillar. I'm assuming right behind this
And
pillar.
another
here,
one. It
there's
looks like another one behind that. No, go down
Yeah.
and to your right. Go to your right. It looks like another one right there.
Yeah.
I think
So,
that's
this was-
straight line
this was
winds,
likely
only
the
because
path of what-
I think if that was a tornado, it would have done a lot more circular damage, and it looks to me like that's probably going to end up being 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds. But that's my preliminary, non-National Weather Service guess. But we'll see. They'll be out there tomorrow, I'm sure, to make a determination.
And Frank, explain it for us. Whenever you hear tornado, I think there's that almost a stigma of, oh my gosh, they're incredibly dangerous, which they are. But for a straight line wind, what does that mean? Is that some people might think, oh, that's not as serious, but no, it can be just as serious, if not more, right?
Well, and we used to call them downburst winds, and that I think made more of an impact because they go downward and they burst at the ground in every direction. I mean, I've made this analogy earlier that when you take a hose of water and you point that water at the driveway, and let's say you put your thumb over it to make it go faster, you know how we all use our thumb on the end of the hose to make the water come out faster, then you point that down, so that makes it come out faster, and then you point it to the ground and it just splatters everywhere. And yes, it's very dangerous. What happens is the air at the top of the cloud is already going up. That's what produces the hail. So you have that updraft, and then when it comes down, that air will go through another slice of even colder air, and that colder air accelerates that wind to the ground. And so when you get hailstorms like this, obviously you're going to have cold air up there. And that's the danger, is the wind goes up, and then when it comes down through that extra cold air, and it accelerates toward the ground. And they are very hard to predict. Doppler's done a good job with it if we can get a good, green, bright green. And that's why when I was talking earlier, when you see a flat green against the red, that flat green, when it's really bright green like that, I think it indicates a straight line wind more than a tornado. And that's what we were seeing. Wow, look at that. So, and again,
right there.
that tree is pushed over, another indication of a straight line wind. It's not torn up like a tornado would tear it up. It's been pushed over. So it's probably going to be determined to be straight line winds, but I'm just guessing, and I don't want to say that's absolutely what it is, but it makes sense to me from the radar signature that I saw and and what we're seeing now of the damage. That's what it looks like to me. Let me see if I can go back.
I'll take it back.
As we go to,
That's just incredibly impressive.
okay, if we can come to me for a minute, I just want to show everybody this real quick. Can you slow it down, Daji? Okay, and go back to where we're looking at the Cypress, Jersey Village area, where it says Cypress and Jersey Village. Okay, this is the velocity. This is what I was, see that bright green that goes by? That bright green, how it's flat like that, and there's a lot of it? That right there, when you see that, even though you have the red and you look for the red and the green, when you see a big swath of green like that, that's flat like that, that's what usually indicates a straight line wind. And then that's why I've been saying all along this afternoon, you may not get a tornado, but you can certainly get the winds. That's a great example of what I think is going to be determined to be straight line winds, and it's right where Gage is. I mean, this is right there along 290 where this happened. So I think that it was a straight line wind of 100 miles an hour that came through there and knocked down those trees and those signs and those branches and those power lines. That's what I think. Because there you have it. And look at that, 107 mile an hour winds. Gage, I know you can't see us, but 107 mile an hour winds. And there might be
Look
even
at this,
higher.
Frank, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
They're using what looks like some sort of saw to actually cut through the steel wires here. I don't know if you can see this on the screen. Houston Fire might need to take it full in the control room, but you can see them using a saw. You saw sparks fly just a couple seconds ago to
you
cut through the steel cables.
Well, you know, and I'm kind of stupid on
You
this
see the
whole
sparks
subject,
flying
but
there?
it looks like those lines are really heavy. You don't just cut the power line off
Yes.
and then move them like they're twigs. I mean, there are heavy lines, and they are. I mean, they're steel cables that are wrapped together, right? I mean, I didn't think about that, but yeah, they've got to cut the power, which clearly they've done, I think, or they wouldn't be touching them. And now they've got to move them.
I sure would hope.
But it does look
That's
like
impressive. You know,
yeah,
to,
look at
to
that.
bring
They're-
out equipment that they would use to extricate somebody from a vehicle, right, or an entrapment. They're using that to cut through those giant steel power lines.
Yeah,
and
like
then
the jaws of
manually
life.
Pull them out.
Yep.
Yeah, and that almost looks like a saw, maybe. It's hard to tell, but nonetheless, I mean, they're going at it for quite some time just to get through one line, and like you said, Frank, there are several strands of that fell.
But as far as you know, and as far as we know, no one was hurt.
As of now, it doesn't look like that. They had an ambulance respond. I didn't see anybody being put on a stretcher or anything of that nature, which is a good thing. You know, cars are relatively safe. If you're going to be hit with a power line, it's probably a good thing to be in a vehicle, right?
Never seen anything like
yeah,
this.
you see a bunch.
This is
Look
remarkable.
at this! Oh my gosh, a porta potty.
Well,
see
you
this
know,
porta
that's not a
potty
bad
somehow got
idea.
blown into the middle of the road.
That's not a bad idea. If you've been sitting there for an hour.
But it looks like it was on its side.
Oh, I thought maybe they
it was
brought
on its
one for
side, and they
people.
were pushing it out of the traffic.
Okay, again, a straight line wind issue. I
it looks
guarantee
like
this was straight line
back
winds. Enough about that, though. But whatever it was, it was. Oh yeah, but whatever it was bad. That's for sure.
To be able to push, a porta-john onto the freeway, assumedly, from and as we saw, there was evidence of a construction site right over here. So we saw some down fencing. Yeah, there it is. There's the construction site. So if it picked that, I'm not saying it picked it up, but I'm just saying it somehow pushed it, moved it. Otherwise, we're assuming that it came from there, because why else would a portable bathroom be on the interstate? That is impressive.
I did want to mention, Gage, they're back on you and me, but there is a tornado warning in Chambers County. And just to get your bearings here, this is really right around Anahuac. And there's Winnie right there. I can go in a little closer here. There's Anahuac. This is a tornado warning until 7:45. Again, it's indicated, you see the notch right there? It's indicated by radar. No guarantee that it's a tornado, but it is certainly something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, because you never know. Again, the velocity here, you've got the green and the red. And so this is much more classic than what I was showing you with that flat, bright green. That's why I think that was straight line winds. This is more the sort of medium green and the red right together there, especially right in this area here. So watch out, Anahuac to Winnie. This is through 7:45, a tornado warning that exists. Daji, there have been no tornadoes reported on the ground with this. I'll have Daji check that, but
Yeah, no tornadoes have been reported so far with this tornado warning. But something to note is that this is spinning up quickly because it's close to that coast. And then we also have that wind coming out off that line. So that's kind of helping create that notch there.
Yep,
something
right
to
there.
watch out for, yeah.
And on top of that, a severe thunderstorm warning. So not only the tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning, both until 7:45. I think if I hit that storm tracker is what I call those, and you can see hail, 1.5 inches. This is headed toward Turtle Bayou, Monroe City, Hancomer, Cottonwood, Felicia, Hogpen Crossing, all between now and 7:47. So if you are in this area of Chambers County and even southern Liberty County, watch out as this storm continues to move off to the northeast pretty quickly. If it's going to be in Liberty County by 7:30, then I mean you're looking at this really right in your area as we speak over the next 15 minutes. Gage, it looks like there's been some movement where you are. Is that a fire truck in the middle?
Yeah, this
and
is-
some people are leaving now.
This
moving.
is westbound frontage road. Westbound frontage road. They cleared that area, so we got movement on the frontage road. However, on actual 290, we now have that big technical rescue vehicle that I was kind of telling you about a little bit earlier. That is now blocking all of the westbound lanes, outbound lanes of 290 as they've been, I mean, let's give a round of applause and a kudos to our first responders, quite literally running across all lanes of the freeway to get these cables, these power lines moved out of the area. Look, you can see them. Look at them hustling over here. This is impressive work.
Those are our heroes.
Teamwork, and maybe, honestly, this is taxpayer dollars of work, and this is what they train to do to be able to handle these kinds of sensitive situations and move. Look at all that wire that they're just tossing and throwing, and
Well, and people
that's
think
some heavy stuff.
People think firemen just fight fires, but who do you call when you have something like this? Obviously, you call those guys, and they are there to help.
And Frank, I'm just looking over here some more. I just can't help. I want to get closer to this. So I'm eager to see what the damage is as you see these cars, driving around these down trees, to just see what all ended up out there, and how much damage there truly was. So I'm eager to see that.
It looks like branches more than anything, and people will venture through that kind of a course. Oh, this is good news.
Oh, here we go. This is 290 westbound. We have cars flowing from what looks like the on-ramp there, but maybe people are sneaking around that big truck. Now, here's the really dangerous thing for these first responders. I know people have been sitting for a while. I just really hope that they slowly get up to cruising speed, if you will. And these are the outbound lanes. So I hope that they're going to slowly get up to speed here, because there are still a lot of people moving around up on all sides of the road here as they work to clear the traffic. But this is a good sign. Hey, we've been going at this for 45 minutes plus, and Houston's bravest got the outbound lanes freed up here. So that's a good sign.
Oh, it's an excellent sign.
Up in front here.
And I think your side will probably be moving fairly quickly. It looks like there is some action going on there. So they'll do their best to get that side open too. But even the HOV lane, that looks like it may still have something on it. But it's hard to know.
Yeah,
right,
that center lane
there.
looks like
I don't know if that's
cables still there.
Is that a cable still? So, but it looks like it's just a matter of moving this, because clearly the power has been cut off. I mean, they know it's not a dangerous power line, right? I mean, now it's just a matter of moving it.
Correct. And now here's the other question, right? And the bigger problem for tens of thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people that are fed from this power line. When and how are they going to fix this to get everybody else that is fed off this power line back up and on the grid, right? This is a monumental task.
That's going to be a big problem, because even during Hurricane Ike, when people were without power for 3 weeks, it wasn't because the power lines were down everywhere so much. They had taken the power down and was getting all the grids back online. We didn't see a lot of this during Hurricane Ike. So when you see this, you could be looking at weeks. Hopefully not. I mean, we've come a long way since 2008. So hopefully they have backup plans and backup this and backup that. But we will find out. But you're exactly right, Gage. That's a very good question. Oh, here we go.
This very well could take a little bit of hiking up those towers. We got to make sure it's safe. And it looks like they're letting people get on the loop ramp there. So that's a good sign. And possibly, because look, we got some cars going the wrong way here. We might have had some folks that were a little antsy, trying to get off, maybe?
Maybe get back to that exit. Like this guy. Well, that looks like a responder there, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. Oh yeah, people are trying.
We kind of got him. This is organized chaos at its finest here.
Well, it looks like it is organized though. It looks like they're letting people do that.
Yeah, they're and this is the danger I was talking about. You see our firefighters out here around where all these people are. But it looks like we got people signaling us through. So, or people up here, I should say, not us in particular. Because once again, let me zoom back out here. I want to put it into perspective. We're in a big traffic jam here.
Yep.
So we got some time to be sitting still, but it looks like the traffic is starting to move, Frank. But you have to wonder how long it will take to make those repairs, right?
Oh, Yeah, especially since it was a cable all the way across. I mean, yeah, because to the left the power was out from where you are, right? North of where you are, the power was out, and south of where you are, the power was out. So it's affected both sides of the freeway.
There's no lights around us.
Oh wow, they really, man, they know how to back up a fire truck, don't they? They took care of that.
That's why they get paid the big bucks. Look at that. That's awesome. I mean, you got to appreciate the work that they do. And now I'm eager to see. Remember that white pickup truck? I wonder if it ended up leaving, or if there was any vehicles that were damaged as a result of this.
Yeah, the white pickup truck that was tangled in the wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe he was afraid to get out of his truck. Maybe he was just waiting for them, and they said, "No, you're good." And who knows? Maybe he cleared himself, or they cleared him, and off he went. You're looking at that tornado warning on your screen too, till 7:45 in Chambers County. Watch out there. Severe thunderstorm warning, also to the south. It looks like Houston's out of it as far as the big stuff, so that's good. It's the leading edge of this because the winds have been so strong. That's the leading edge that has been so dangerous with the storm. But it is obviously moving out of here, thank goodness. Okay, what's going on there, Gage? It looks like
either this could have been somebody that was.
You know, why does this guy stop? He needs to move.
Yeah, maybe he's not close enough to be hit with the lines, so maybe hey, they've been sitting here for a while. Could have ran out of gas.
Well, yeah, that's not out of the realm of possibility for sure.
But yeah, traffic is slowly starting to move through here. But kudos to HPD.
It looks like you're one of
HFD.
them that's moving through. So you decided to take the exit?
Yeah, we're going to take the exit, and we're going to get you a better look here, Frank. We're going to go right up next to this big downed electric substation here. Let me throw the wiper on this camera that we can get a clean look. This looks to be some sort of debris over there. Is that insulation to some point? I'm not sure. But let's get you a look here at this. This, you know, Frank, I think you were right with the straight line winds, the theory here.
Well, it's pretty simple. If everything's pushed over in a straight line, then straight line wins.
Because it looks like it was pushed.
Yeah, it does. And so many different spots, you know. A lot of times a tornado, unless it has a path, but it doesn't look to me like there's a path with this. I mean, it's sort of in the same place, but a tornado will take out a large path of damage, whereas straight line winds are a little more random. Okay, what is that? Everybody driving over a line? Those are your lines?
Power lines. So they must have certified that they're de-energized and folks are driving over them.
Well, there you go.
And they just set up some cones there. But I think we're going to hang out here and try to see exactly. There's a lot of debris around here. So I think this is where we're gonna post up for a little bit. We're gonna maybe get our vehicle into position here to try to get into a parking spot and kind of survey the damage here because I'm interested to see. Look, this is twisted a little bit though, Frank. I'm not sure.
Well, straight lines.
There's a little bit of twist to it.
Straight lines can do that too. I mean, a lot of times straight line winds will take down houses that are being constructed that are just the wood and the frame, and you'll see the straight line wind destroy the house, but yet a lot of the wood is tossed around in what looks like a circular pattern. So, I mean, the Weather Service, I'm sure, will make that determination because they know better, what to look at. And now with drones, you can get a much better idea looking from above down to see exactly where the damage is and what kind of damage, and make a better determination than I can just looking at our storm camera here. But hey, look, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I think it's probably, from what I saw on the radar, boy, it sure looked like straight line winds. That bright green is just taking over. That's a strong pattern for straight line winds. So, but you're right. There's a twist. It looks like it has a twist now. Could it have been a little of both? I don't know, but we'll see.
It looks like it fell down right in that straight. It fell down straight, but I'm just not sure if the base was twisted. Because looking around, it doesn't look like there's too much damage to buildings elsewhere in the area, which would be more conducive with a tornado, correct?
I would think, yeah. And more tree damage probably,
Oh, do you know what, Frank? take a look at this. This is the first time we're able to look down this way. There's another one that's twisted on the opposite side of the road.
Wow.
We're looking across the interstate here, 290. Another one with.
Oh,
I don't know, that
and
might-
then it looks like there's one behind it. So this is
Yeah.
going to be interesting
And
because
look at this.
I know. Well, what's interesting, Gage, is that you're looking from south to north, right? You're looking north right now, and
Correct. Yeah.
and the storm, the line was moving across the county. So it would be rare for a tornado to somehow jump from south to north and do damage on the south side and then jump over the freeway and do damage on the north side. But especially when the line is moving from west to east. You follow my reasoning here? But
Yes, sir.
straight,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, but straight line winds could certainly do that across the area. I do want to mention there's another severe thunderstorm warning. It's right here until 7:45. And that's for, well, we can zoom in because it's really for Galveston County, because I hit Galveston County, but it starts at Pearland, Friendswood. It looks like maybe right across Hobby, maybe not quite to Hobby, Dickinson, Clear Lake, but that is until 7:45 as this line finally begins to push out of here. But clearly it has not sung its last song, that's for sure. But there we have it. I want to take the boxes off and put it in motion just so you can see. This is the last hour. So this gives you an idea of this whole line moving through. So its last hurrah is right there. But as it moves across, clearly there's still some strong action with it, especially when you look at the lightning. Look at that's coming across. And if you look at the number of lightning strikes, they're not any less than they were when we first started tracking all of this 3 hours ago. We were at 1,000 strikes right now into Louisiana. And with this area particularly, we can go in on that, and you can see that whole area that's still in our part of town, that's got 800, 700 strikes just from Pearland and Seabrook right across toward Winnie. So it's still a really active system, clearly. And if you look at the warnings again, here's what we have. Let me put those back on. Severe thunderstorm warning that's in Chambers County until 7:45, so not too much longer. And then this one also until 7:45. Now, saying that, these could be extended a little more. So we might end up with a severe thunderstorm warning in the rest of Galveston County and Galveston Island. I don't think that this may be extended to Beaumont, but that's not our viewing area. But for us, right down here in Galveston Island and Galveston and even parts of Brazoria County, this whole line, that hasn't done much, that southern end of the line. But clearly, what's coming into the Alvin area and League City, that will continue to push across. So that's what we'll be tracking as this continues to push through. But severe thunderstorm warnings now until 7:45. I guess there's good news, and then there's no tornado warning, so any threat of that is gone. And then if you look at some of these storm trackers here, you've got Hastings and Friendswood, 751, Webster, Clear Lake at 759, League City, 759, Nassau Bay at 801, and Dickinson at 803. So that's, as this storm moves across, that's what we're going to continue to watch. I can put this in motion. You can see it's a fairly fast mover from Mission Bend all the way to where it is now in the last hour. Not quite as fast as the northern part of it, so it's kind of the tail end that's lagging a little bit. But it continues to push across clearly, and will continue to do that. So that's what we're watching now. Severe thunderstorm warnings until 7:45. So then we got 7 minutes left on that, and then I think very likely we'll see that extended. I think we'll see that extended. I don't know why it would suddenly drop, but it might. But I think clearly part of Galveston, Galveston Island will be under at least watch out for some strong storms. They may not be severe, but they could certainly reach the parameters of strong as this moves across. And this is moving across the Weather Service right now down in League City. So they're getting a firsthand experience of just what this storm is all about. Did something change there? No, it's still on the yellow there. So they'll be able to say, well, this isn't maybe as strong as we expected, or it's lightening up a little bit, and they may change their mind about whether it's a severe storm. But it has lightning with it. It's likely to drop hail, and certainly some heavy rain has been coming in. So we've been looking at that as it's moved across. We've been getting a lot of click-to-pins, which we'll be showing you. But if you go to click2pins.com or click2houston.com/pins, you can see them. We'll certainly show you those as we go into our 10 o'clock newscast, which we're getting closer and closer to that. There's the line of storms that we're watching. I'll take this out a little bit so that you can see exactly what we have here. All of these to the north, these are flood warnings for the heavy rain that you've had. San Jacinto, these until 8:30, 8:45, flash flood warnings. So they're not about, obviously, the rain that is coming down, but the rain that already has. So that's the problem with that. Well, that's going to continue to push on through. Elsewhere, severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings. I'm right on that, right, Dodgy? No tornado warnings. It's just the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. They still have one, looks like, out toward Lake Charles, so they're still dealing with that. Sometimes it's lightning. It's interesting to look at, but it gets a little annoying when you can't see the rain, so I like to look at the rain. So there that tornado warning was. We didn't get any reports of tornadoes, which is good, in Chambers County, and that's been dropped. So it's just about another, let's see, what time is it now, right at 7:40. So 5 more minutes on these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, although this one may be extended to Galveston Island, but this is clearly just the tail end of that. And so I think that's probably good news. Especially if you're down to the south there. So if I look at just that and the lightning with that, you can see it's really up here around Clear Lake. So down to the south, it doesn't look like it's going to be much to worry about except just some showers coming through as you go just outside of Bay City and Matagorda, Lake Jackson, Freeport, Angleton, West Columbia. It looks like you'll be in pretty good shape there, and Sweeney. And then as this side comes across into Galveston, there may be at least enough lightning and maybe the parameters. You need 58-mile-an-hour winds or the hail to get really to the parameter of a severe storm. So we'll see if that continues to hold. So that's the one thing. We're now 3 minutes out. We'll just bear with us, and we'll see exactly what happens with this whole area. So I know Dodgy's been looking at some rain amounts, which are pretty impressive, especially on top of what we've already had. Dodgy, what you got over there?
Yeah, as we take a look at the map here, notice to the north, we are looking at 3, some spots even 5 inches, and those are in those areas that were already hit hard. And as Frank mentioned, that's why we do have those flash flood warnings in places like San Jacinto County right now, because we've already been saturated, and then we have 3.6 inches on top of that, some areas even 5 inches. But notice, if you're in the loop, you still got a good dousing as that line rolled through. It was quick, but it had some heavy downpours. Portions of West Houston getting 2 inches there, coming close to 2 inches in that northeastern area. And then as we continue to see that line press its way to the south and east along 45, we are looking at some rain totals around just over a ½ inch. I do want to show you some of our click-to pins here. We have been once again monitoring this line of storms that have been rolling through, and we've been noticing some pretty impressive pictures coming into our click-to pins. If you want to share with us, please do. It gives us an idea of not only how strong it was on radar, but how it's looking out in the real world. So this is, you can see that 18-wheeler was turned over, and that user is saying, this viewer is saying, this was along Interstate 10 and 69, and he uses the word stupid crazy, meaning it was insane winds that led to this tipping over, led to that 18-wheeler tipping over. Here's another photo of some storm damage from one of our viewers, and we're still once again looking at a lot of power outages here across Southeast Texas.
Oh, wow, look at that. Gage is going to want to see that. That is for sure. Gage, nice to see your face. We're just looking at a click-to pin of about 5 towers that have been pushed down. I know.
Yeah, and this is just one of them. On the other side of the interstate here, there are several more. Our camera can't reach it right now, but I count 1, 2, I believe at least 2 more on the other side of 290. But just the magnitude of this, to the force of Mother Nature to have brought this tower down and actually grind traffic on 290 to an absolute standstill. But folks, as there were people on the road, there were also people working in the businesses here. Pablo, you were inside. Tell me, what did you hear as all this was happening?
Well, lights were flickering on and off. We did start hearing a lot of wind, and doors just started to fly off. The doors were flying off.
The door of the business flew off.
It was trying to fall off. We put some tile that we sell, and we were able to secure it, get everybody indoors, and really clear the stuff. Things were flying from the roof, from the walls, and of course, when we looked at the back, the power line was down in the easement.
Did you hear this fall down? I imagine it made a noise, right?
It made a little bit of a thump, kind of like an explosion of sorts, but it was more to do like with the wind, I'm guessing.
I believe it. And was this quick approaching? Did it kind of ramp up over time, or was it just right there instantly?
It was there. It was within 5 minutes. The sky turned very dark, and within 5 minutes, we actually had to keep our customers inside and keep them indoors for the duration of the storm while the winds passed. We were trying to make sure that everything was safe, and all emergency services were here when we were out.
And as the winds were picking up, I know a lot of times during like tornadoes, people often kind of liken that sound to that of a train. Did you hear anything like that? I want our meteorologists, Frank Billingsley and Daji Swad, they're listening as well, just to kind of give them an understanding of what conditions were like out here. What did you hear or see whenever those winds were at their strongest?
Well, it definitely started with the flickering of the lights. We have a 20,000 square foot warehouse, and definitely started flickering all around, thumping in the roof from the starting of the rain, and then everything that is attached just from the back, all the signs started to fly off, and then we started checking the windows for impact.
Because you thought they would...
They were coming in from the parking lot. We checked at the cars to make sure that nothing was hitting them, and just making sure that our customers are inside the doors and away from the windows. Came all of a sudden, maybe 5 minutes, and the storm was here, and it looks like not even an hour, and things are starting to clear up again.
Well, you did a good thing keeping everybody away from the windows, Pablo. I'm so glad to hear you're safe. And that's just one of many businesses along here. But as we turn our attention back to this tower here, looking forward, the damage is done. Whoa, almost fell in a hole there. You see that? That's live television for you. But the damage is done, right? You got to think about the process to rebuild this, not once, but 3 times, as there's 2 more on the other side of the interstate. But then also, how do you get power back to these lines that eventually will end up in my home, in your home, and everybody that lives around here? That's a monumental task that these utility workers have at hand. But the good news, Frank, hey, traffic is moving here on 290, so that's the best thing. And as we heard so far, no one has been injured that we know of in this area.
Wow, and you said 1, 2, 3. From the pictures I'm seeing, Gage, it's even more than that. So you're right. It's a monumental task. Thank you for your reporting. It's been great teamwork with you and Daji. Thank everybody. Here's the good news. So only a severe thunderstorm warning left in Chambers County. That's until 8 o'clock. So do watch out there, High Island. I know you're in the midst of that, as well as Winnie. This storm system, while it's still strong, does not have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but still, it's going to continue to move to the east. In fact, I'll put a little hourly on there, and you can get an idea that that's continuing to push across. So watch out there in Kemah to Texas City to Galveston, because you still have some of those showers coming in. Obviously, we will have a full report tonight on our news at 10, and we'll try to get the best update on that whole power situation as we can. You folks out there may be watching us online. We'll follow you all the way through and hope for the best out there. So I'm Chief Meteorologist Frank Billingsley. For the entire team here at KPRC 2, we'll see you at 10.